Someone just paid $31 million for a watch. Not a house, not a car, a watch. And it's not even the most expensive one ever sold. Stick around because the numbers we're about to discuss will blow your mind. Think about the most expensive thing you've ever bought. Maybe it was a car, a house, a piece of jewelry. Now imagine spending more than most people make in their entire lifetime on something you wear on your wrist. Welcome to the world of ultra-luxury watches, where timepieces aren't just about telling time. They're about history, craftsmanship, status, and obsession. Today, we're counting down the most expensive watches ever sold at auction. We're talking pieces that have fetched millions, sometimes tens of millions. And the stories behind them are just as fascinating as the price tags. Let's dive in. The Rolex Daytona, Paul Newman. We're starting with a watch that revolutionized the collector market. The Rolex Daytona Paul Newman. In 2017, this watch sold for $17.8 million for a Rolex. But this wasn't just any Rolex. This was the Paul Newman Rolex. The actual watch worn by the legendary actor himself. His wife gave it to him in 1968, and he wore it almost every day for decades. The caseback was engraved with "Drive Carefully Me" from his wife. It's not just a watch, it's a love story, a piece of Hollywood history. Before this sale, nobody thought a Rolex could break 10 million. This watch changed everything. It proved that the story behind a watch can be worth more than the materials it's made from. The Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime. Next up, the Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime, reference 6300A. This one sold for $31 million in 2019, and it deserves every penny. The Grandmaster Chime is Patek Philippe's most complicated wristwatch ever made. It has 20 complications. 20, including 5 chiming functions and a perpetual calendar. But here's what made this specific piece so valuable. It was made in stainless steel for a charity auction. Patek Philippe almost never makes their high complications in steel. It's always gold or platinum. This was a one-time thing, for charity. And the watch world went insane. The movement alone has over 1,300 parts, every single one finished by hand. It took 7 years to develop. That's why someone paid $31 million for it. The Breguet Marie Antoinette. Now things get historical. The Breguet Grande Complication Marie Antoinette. This watch sold for $30 million. But here's the twist. It wasn't even finished during Marie Antoinette's lifetime. In 1783, an admirer commissioned the greatest watchmaker of the time to create the most complicated watch ever made. Money was no object. Time was no issue. The watchmaker worked on it for decades, but he died before finishing it. So did Marie Antoinette. The French Revolution got in the way. The watch was finally completed in 1827, 44 years after it was commissioned. It was stolen from a museum in 1983 and recovered in 2007. The whole thing reads like a movie script. $30 million for a watch that took almost half a century to make? Suddenly, that seems reasonable. The Patek Philippe Henry Graves Super Complication. Here's the watch that held the world record for over 20 years. The Patek Philippe Henry Graves Super Complication. This pocket watch sold for $24 million in 2014. Henry Graves Jr. was a New York banker in the 1920s. He had a rivalry with another collector. They constantly tried to one-up each other with more complicated watches. So Graves commissioned Patek Philippe to create the most complicated watch in existence. It took 5 years to design and 3 years to build. The watch has 24 complications, including a celestial map of the night sky as seen from Graves' apartment in New York. For decades, it was the pinnacle of watchmaking, a symbol of what human hands could achieve. When it sold for $24 million, people thought that record would stand forever. They were wrong. The Patek Philippe 1518 in stainless steel. The Patek Philippe reference 1518 in stainless steel sold for $11 million in 2016. The 1518 was the first perpetual calendar chronograph ever produced in series. It's one of the most important watches in horological history. And here's the kicker. Out of 281 pieces made, only 4 were made in stainless steel. 4. Steel was considered a cheap material back then. Nobody wanted steel. They wanted gold. So these 4 steel pieces were anomalies. Decades later, they're the most valuable versions because of their extreme rarity. For collectors, this watch represents the Holy Grail, extreme rarity, historical importance, Patek Philippe pedigree. The Rolex Bao Dai. This one has an incredible story. The Rolex Bao Dai sold for $5 million in 2017. Bao Dai was the last emperor of Vietnam. In 1954, he ordered a custom Rolex. But not just any Rolex. He wanted something nobody else had. So Rolex made him a watch with a black dial, diamond hour markers, and his royal crest at the 12 o'clock position. It was a one-of-one piece, made for a king. After he fled Vietnam, the watch disappeared for decades. Nobody knew where it was. Then it surfaced in 2017, and the watch world erupted. Collectors fought over it. $5 million for a watch that was missing for over 50 years. For a piece of Vietnamese history. It might not be the most expensive, but it's one of the coolest. The Jacob & Company Billionaire watch. Now we're getting into pure extravagance. The Jacob & Company Billionaire watch is priced at $18 million. Why? Because it's covered in 260 carats of emerald-cut diamonds. The entire case. The bracelet, the movement, everything. It's not about complications or history. It's about flex. Pure, unfiltered wealth on display. Is it tasteful? That's debatable. Is it impressive? Absolutely. When you're wearing $18 million on your wrist, you're not checking the time. You're making sure everyone in the room knows you've made it. The Patek Philippe reference 2523. The Patek Philippe reference 2523 in rose gold sold for around $10 million. At first glance, you might wonder why. It's not covered in diamonds. It doesn't have crazy complications. It shows the time and has a world time function. But here's what makes it special. Only 12 of these were ever made in rose gold. 12. In the entire world. Patek Philippe is known as the king of watchmaking. Their vintage pieces are like fine art. And when you combine extreme rarity with the Patek name, you get prices that make your head spin. This watch is from the 1950s. It survived decades in pristine condition. For collectors, owning one is like owning a Picasso. The Graff Hallucination. And finally, the most expensive watch ever created, the Graff Hallucination. This watch is valued at $55 million. Yes, $55 million. It's a bracelet watch covered in 110 carats of rare colored diamonds. Pink, blue, green, yellow, orange, every color you can imagine. It took thousands of hours to source the diamonds. Each stone is exceptionally rare, and they're set in platinum in an intricate mosaic pattern. The watch itself is almost irrelevant. This is wearable art, a statement piece that says, I have more money than I know what to do with. Only one exists, and it's not for sale. But if someone wanted to buy it, $55 million is the number. It represents the absolute peak of extravagance, the ultimate flex. If you enjoyed this journey into insane wealth, hit that like button. And if you want more content about luxury, history, and the crazy world of collectibles, subscribe. Let me know in the comments which watch blew your mind the most. I'll see you in the next one.